can you do? There's a ton of research to show what can increase your tolerance of ambiguity. There's 8 things you can do within the I am assessment with those 9 dimensions, creativity being the one that's across the board. But things like they've done in physicians and medical students, even just going to an art appreciation where they wander around at a gallery and look at art for an hour increases their tolerance of ambiguity. Anything where you're seeing the world through someone else's perspective increases your tolerance of ambiguity. Things like reading a fictional book or essay. IBM found that leaders who lived abroad were more creative because you can start to see things from different perspectives. Having the courage to take action. Experiencing awe is another way. So going to see Cirque du Soleil or some amazing performance will help increase your tolerance of ambiguity. Genetics, well, can't do much about that yet. I don't know. Biotechnology's on the wave. Bilingual, learning how to say have a nice day in the first language of a colleague or a client or someone that you see, a barista, will help to increase your tolerance of ambiguity. But creativity is the big one. Because if you think about it, when you do anything that's creative, let's say you're painting an image of a tree, you don't know what that tree is going to look like until you do it. If you like to cook and you want to throw a dash of pepper or paprika, or like my husband, instead of orange juice in the soup he made, he used 5 Alive. Yeah, it was disgusting. He's actually a very good cook and does most of the cooking, but the 5 Alive soup was not a winner. But he tried it, right? You don't know what it's going to taste like, although you probably could guess what soup with 5 Alive would taste like. You don't know what it's going to do until you try it. So stepping into the uncertainty of knowing how things are going to work out with anything, whatever floats your boat, something you used to do when you were a kid. How many people I talked to when I told them about my jewelry business, because I never wanted to say I had a jewelry business as a vet. People are like, why are you doing that? That's so weird. But I kind of got over it. And then I realized when I told people about my jewelry business, they'd come back like a week or a month later and they'd be like, you know, you told me about your jewelry business. I thought that was kind of weird. But then I remembered that I loved to quilt in high school. I love to write. I love to journal. I love to do all of these different things that I just don't do anymore. If you can relate, maybe there's something you used to do that was creative that gave you joy. And I encourage you to consider doing that again, because not only does it make you happy, it'll make you more confident during change in the future of work. So when caught in that riptide, the number one thing we need to do is what we worked on today, is build that awareness, those physical feelings that we did when we did that standing up exercise, that pursing the lips, that bouncing on the heels. What do you do when you're feeling uncertain and knowing that you need to recognize that? Because you don't want to just react out of instinct into that outdated adaptation. The next thing is to collect information, consider, take data. Like McKinsey said, data-driven decisions builds organizational health. So yes, trust your gut, but verify. Make sure that you know what you're doing and that it's not just a knee-jerk reaction to change. And then finally, create. Creativity is how we're going to move forward into the future. Not only is it correlated with this ability to tolerate ambiguity, it makes us happier. It also makes us feel more engaged with our work. If you're using your creativity at work, you're half as likely to be looking for a new job. Pretty simple, right? They're the super duo of peanut butter and chocolate.